For those of you that don't know me, my name is John Bash, and I'm coming to you from my home office here in Temecula, California. And I can't tell you how humbled I was at the beginning of this year when Karen Riley called and asked if I'd be willing to be one of the featured speakers at Envision. You know, after a few moments of silence and finally accepting her offer, both Karen and Corey and I then began discussing what my topic would be. After giving it some careful thought, I suggested what I feel is the most important skill anyone can learn as a network marketer, which brings us to today. Now, you know, with more than 3 decades of experience in the network marketing industry, I've learned that the people who succeed at the highest levels here do so because they've implemented simple, duplicatable systems. Systems that, when followed, create predictable outcomes. And that's what we're all trying to accomplish. Systems are important in any business where multiples of people are involved. It's why companies like McDonald's are so successful. You can go into any McDonald's in this country at 10 o'clock at night, and you'll see a pimply-faced teenager running a multi-million-dollar operation. They're able to do that because everything there is systematized. If somebody buys one item, it goes in this bag. If they buy 2, it goes in that bag. You know, Tuesday is the day you place your meat order. Thursday is napkins and paper goods day. Literally, everything is a coordinated process in that business. Systems. Systems are absolutely what makes the military work right. You know, in the military, what their objective is to have everybody doing the same thing consistently. And the same applies to the network marketing industry. Our obligation to understand our marketplace, understand our company so that we can do the best job possible of bringing it to market. In order to succeed in this industry, we too need to use a simple, duplicatable system in order to make sure our entire team, which of course is our network, are all doing the same duplicatable action, and they're doing it on a day-to-day basis. The definition of this industry is teaching a large group of people to do a few simple things over an extended period of time. That's all we have to do to get our group out there doing the best job that they can do. Too often what I see are individuals who want to get creative within their team. You know, they come up with what they feel is a better way, maybe a little tweak to this plan that the team has put together. If they tweak it, it's going to be more successful. If that's you that's thinking that, let me suggest to you, perish the thought. Because even if you come up with a new and exciting way to build, there's no guarantee your downline is going to be able to duplicate your method. So stick with what's tried and true, the methods that have been taught by your upline. Because I can tell you this, there is simply no new information in this industry. Certain things have worked since this industry began, clear back into the 1950s. People are people. And when you're dealing with people, certain skills will always be necessary for you to succeed. So I don't want you to let this sink in. You're either going to modify your dreams or you're going to need to magnify your skills. Your skills, the things that you learn in this industry is what's going to separate you from the crowd. Now I want you to think about this for a second. As you look at that picture of skills, you can see they're under construction. That's because your skills will always be under construction. You're going to always have to be learning about your industry, about what your responsibilities are, so that you get good at each and every aspect. Because the better you are at each and every aspect, the more attractive you become to other people. The world is full of people that are looking for a way, looking for a better way, to be able to get something in life that they can't have doing what they're currently doing now. But they're not going to follow you if you don't sound like you know what you're doing. Because the reality is you need to know who you are, you need to know where you're going, and you need to know how to get there. Because when you put those 3 together, people will want to follow you. They will seek you out. They will find you somehow, and they'll come to you looking for help. And your business will even thrive more. In every form of business that exists, skills are necessary. From attorneys, for example, you know, if you're an attorney, you don't only need to know the legal ramifications of things, you've got to have a skill of advancing or presenting your case in a court of law. If you're a construction worker, you not only need to know the trade, you need to know the proper use of every tool that's used in that trade. The same applies to the network marketing industry. And I want to begin by saying it's important that each of you learn some new skill, because it's not about talent. You all were born with talent. So it's not about talent, it's about skills. Skills are what's going to separate you from everybody else, because you see, skills are learnable, and anyone who has the desire and the willingness to focus on learning long enough to enhance the skill, whether you're going to be a success in this industry or not, is going to be determined by the amount and the level of the skills that you master. Think of it this way. In order to have something you've never had, you must become something that you've never been. Let me say that one more time. In order to have something that you've never had, you must become something that you've never been. In other words, if you're unwilling to learn some new skills, then you're unwilling to change. And if you're unwilling to change, then your current life circumstances won't change. Because in order for things to get better, you must get better. Now, I've been encouraged to address the skill of inviting people to take a look at our technology and our opportunity. In short, it's the invitation itself, the actual invitation, what you do to ask to take a look, which is one of the three most important skills that you can develop in this business. The other two critical skills are learning to listen, more than you talk, but learning to listen, followed by getting your people started right. More often than not, when I tell people what the three most important skills are, invariably, some of them will raise their hand or they'll say something out loud and they'll say, "What about recruiting?" Well, yes, recruiting is important too, I admit. However, I need you to understand something. Most of you already know how to recruit. I mean, after all, if you're married, if you have a boyfriend, a girlfriend, or a significant other, somebody did some recruiting, didn't they? Of course they did. So my feelings are this: if I can help you improve your invitation and listening skills, it can only improve your recruiting skills. And from there, it's just getting your people started right. And that'll be a topic for another day. The reason the invitation step is so important is it's where we actually connect with people for the first time. And it's therefore the beginning step of a system that's designed for creating duplication throughout your business network. Like any skill, there are certain steps and reasons why we take certain steps. You need to understand them, you need to digest them, you need to practice them, and you need to learn them. And I can't stress enough the importance of practicing what you learn. I say that because learned knowledge combined with action knowledge is what forms your skill. Learned knowledge is what you gain from a book or a video message like this one. Activity or action knowledge comes from acting on the knowledge you've gained. You've done that in order to get a specific result. You then can analyze the results you're getting to make sure they're the actual results you wanted in the first place. And if not, then you can make the necessary changes or corrections so that your future actions and future activities will bring you the result that you want. Now, in this message, I'm going to first help you understand the process of inviting. And then I'm going to provide some examples of conversation starters and some simple invitations. So before we get started, let's be sure that you have paper and pen in front of you to take the good notes. And I say that because you're going to find the drama is in the details. I assure you, a week from now, 6 months, or 3 years from now, even pale ink is going to be better than your memory. So get something to write on if you don't have it already. I'm going to start right now by asking you a simple question. What is our product? And in asking you this question, I need you to answer the question mentally. So again, what is our product? Now, depending upon the answer you've come up with, I ask you this: is this our product? The products you're looking at on your screen, is this our product? In other words, did you answer our products are the Redox molecules in drink and gel form, the Renew Advanced Skincare, and of course the ASEA V line? Was that your answer? If you did, it's not. It's not our product. Redox technology is simply that, our breakthrough technology. It's our vehicle, if you will, to grow and develop our individual market segment. This is our product. Our product is people. Why that's important for you to understand is the network marketing industry itself. We are in the only industry in this entire world where every single network marketing company is in direct competition with us for our product, which again is people. We're all competing for the same thing, people. And because people are our product, it becomes critical that we understand people. And to do that effectively and efficiently, we must first recognize the importance and understand what human nature is. Human nature. It's an interesting statement because you see, if we are to rise above our competition, the other network marketing companies, in attracting people, we need to understand this term, human nature. Why do I suggest that to you? Well, to help you understand, let's start by looking at what the definition of human nature is. Wikipedia says human nature is a bundle of characteristics, including ways of thinking, feeling, and acting humans are said to have naturally. Okay, a bundle of characteristics of thinking, feeling, and acting. If human nature is a bundle of characteristics that causes people to think, feel, and act in certain ways, wouldn't it seem obvious then that we should want to do a better job than our competition to understand what characteristics would make people think, feel, and act on, looking at what we have to offer? And then ultimately joining our team as either a customer, a new associate member? Of course it does. Let's address three of the most important characteristics of people that we all know but have often forgot. The first, people are already busy. You know this subconsciously. People are busy because you're busy. In fact, people can't finish their to-do lists every day now. And then guess what happens? You come along and you want to get them involved in ASEA and further complicate their life. When you understand these basic points of human nature, you can avoid them in your invitation to get people to take a look. We're going to help you be much more effective in getting people to take the action step that you're offering to them. If you know people are already busy and don't want to get involved in anything, why would you approach them with an opportunity to get involved in something without knowing what their need is? You can't. Well, what do you think these people are going to think when you start offering them something to get involved in when you don't know what's going on in their world now that has them already busy? The second thing to understand is people love to buy. We all do. We all love going out and buying things, improving our life, getting more things into our life that we like better. So all people do, right? All people love to buy. But guess what? They hate being sold. People hate to be sold. And what does it mean to be sold? It means you bought the salesperson. You didn't buy what the benefit was. You just decided maybe you just wanted to keep them quiet and you paid some money for something. It's where people end up with what they call buyer's remorse. It was because you talked them into something instead of them solving a need that they know they have. When you solve a need in someone else's mind and they use this product, they've made the choice. You didn't sell it to them. They chose to buy it. And there's a big difference in that. The third thing that you need to understand is the people who know you and love you the most. And first, who are those people? Well, typically it starts with family. And we all have family. I mean, family can start with grandfathers, grandmothers, mothers, fathers, aunts, uncles, brothers, sisters, family. We all have family. They feel like they know us and love us the most. If you're lucky, you might have a few friends that fit into that same category, that know you and love you. So these are the people that know us and love us the most. And it's important that you understand this because typically for a new associate, these are the people they run out and talk to first. because they feel like they know me, they love me, they're going to listen to me. But guess what? The people who know you and love you the most listen to you the least. Why do I say that? Because we've all experienced it. You know, how many of you guys out there, and I can speak from the male perspective, how many of you guys have gone out and your wife or your significant other has asked you a question and you've given her the answer and it was the right answer. Yet 10 minutes later, you hear her ask that question of someone else. Why did she do that? She did it because she doesn't trust your answer, because the question she asked was not in your genre, so to speak, of knowledge as far as she's concerned. Therefore, there's going to be doubt. And here's something I want each of you to keep close to your mind and heart, and that is that everybody that knows you knows two things about you. They know what you do for a living, or what you've done for a living if you don't work presently, and they know this. They know you know absolutely nothing about this stuff called redox molecule. Why? Because you've never talked about it before. They've never heard it before. And that's what's going to happen. You'll be talking to them, and they'll be nodding politely and smiling as they're listening to you, and you're thinking in your mind, wow, this is going well. They're really liking what I'm sharing with them. Guess what? No, they're not. That's not what's going on in their mind. What's going on in their mind is 100 miles an hour inside their head. They're going, where's this coming from? I've never heard this before. How could he know this is going to be beneficial to me? Man, when did he get involved in this? What's he trying to get me involved in? All those thoughts are racing through their head. Their mind is locked in on what doesn't match up with what they're hearing. And what doesn't match up is what I like to call your music and your lyrics don't jive. Your music is what they know about you. Your lyrics is what you're saying to them. And what you're saying to them doesn't match up with what they know. And therefore, they're not going to listen intently. They're not going to bet on that that's the right answer. So these are three important things for you to understand and know. And again, these are human nature things. So let's take a moment and recap human nature. First of all, people are already busy and do not want you or anything else to complicate their life. Just remember, everybody is busy. You need to stay focused on staying away from getting them involved in something, because the invitation step we're going to get to, but it's important you understand these basic things about human nature. There's others, but these three are mission critical for you in making an invitation to take a look at what we have to offer here at ASEA. The second, of course, is people love to buy, but they hate being sold. One last quick example for you about that. How many times have you been at the store? Let's say you go into a department store, for example, and if you're a guy, you're looking for new slacks or maybe a new shirt. If you're a gal, maybe a new dress or maybe a new handbag. You know, what do? We go over and we're on the rack and we're maybe holding the slacks up and we're looking at the mirror, kind of putting them next to our face. Does the color match us? Does it look like something that would look good on us? And a clerk comes up to us and says, excuse me, but can I help you? What is our answer? Typically, the answer is, no, thank you, I'm just looking. Why do we do that? Because we don't want to be sold. We're there to make a choice. We're there because we feel like a good understanding about what looks good on us and what we want to buy. And we really don't want anybody getting into that space. Remember that, because that applies to you when you're approaching somebody about our opportunity or our technology as well. Number three, the people who know you and love you the most listen to you the least. This is a hard one for a lot of people to get over. It's true. You're going to have to buy into it, because if you don't, you're going to be painfully made aware of it in short order. What I wanted to help you understand now is your success in this business is really just one step away. You're so close. It's all about this invitation step, because it's the invitation that unlocks the door to your success. It allows you to get a person to take a look at what we have to offer. And it doesn't matter whether they've come for better health or they're coming for more wealth. We have a solution that may fit them. But we gotta get them to look. Too many people blow that opportunity for the person to look, and I'll tell you why in just a second. Let's take a look at the definition of invitation. And the reason I'm putting these definitions in front of you, even though many of you think you know what this means, I'm going to help you understand why you may be in left field on some of your thoughts about inviting people to take a look. Here's the first definition: a written or verbal request inviting someone to go somewhere or to do something. Written or verbal request, someone to go somewhere or to do something. Our second one is simple: the act of inviting someone to go somewhere or to do something. Let's take those two thoughts apart here for a second. The first one, a written or verbal request. I want you to focus on those three words: written, verbal, request. What is a request? A question, right? It's not a statement of fact, it's a question. So you're giving them a written or a verbal request, which is a question. You're asking them to take an action step. You're not giving information in that process. You are simply asking them to take a look. The second message says the act of, which is the same thing. The act of writing or giving a verbal request. That's what an invitation is all about. Take a look at these forms of invitations. You'll see there's 5 of them here. We have a birthday party, a wedding, a cocktail party, a backyard barbecue, and an anniversary. Now, as you look at these 5 different invitations, I'm going to assume that you've all received one of these types of invitations in the past. Now, that said, as you look at them right now, as you look at these different invitations, or what I want you to look for is, in your mind, what do you see that's similar in all 5 of these forms of inviting people to go somewhere or to do something? I'll tell you what's similar. There's very little information given. Make note of that, because it plays a significant role in delivering an invitation to look at our breakthrough technology and or our opportunity. It tells you when it is, where it is, and how to get there. And isn't that what we do if we wanted somebody to take a look at a video? What it is the video. Where it is at a link. And when it is, it's at a specified time, or it's a standard link that they can go to now. That's the information we're giving up. We're not giving up information about our technology, any details about anything, not where we're going. So let's take a look at a couple reasons why. And what we're going to do is we're going to focus on the 3 most important rules of inviting somebody to do something. The first rule is you need to learn to say less to more people. Less is more. Let that sink in. Because the more you say, the less chance you have of that person taking a look at your opportunity or your technology. The less you say, the more chance you have of getting that person to take a look at your technology or your opportunity. Why is that? Well, let me share with you. Every human person deals in mental picture. And the more you say, the more you help the picture in the person's mind of what it is they think you're talking about. The less you say creates curiosity. And curiosity is what makes people take an action step. How many of you have received an email from a friend that says, man, click this link, it's the funniest thing you've ever seen, and you just automatically click it and go watch? Why did you do that? I'll tell you why. It wasn't going to complicate your life because it wasn't going to take long. You weren't going to have to buy anything because it was just a link some provided to you to find out some new information. In that case, it happened to be a joke. If you say too much, the picture is formed and the person says, yeah, okay, I'll go check it out, but then they don't do it. Why is that? Because they feel they know what it is. And once they feel they understand what it is, it's almost like going to see a brand new movie. When you go to tell a friend about it, you never tell them the plot, do you? Because if you tell them the plot, then they just go throw their arms up and say, well, that's not something I'm going to go see now. You just spoiled it. It's the same basic idea. The more you tell somebody, you've spoiled the plot. You spoiled what it was all about to try to get them to look. So you've got to make it less. Say less to more people. The second one is your invitation should never be longer. Let me back up and say this again, and I should change that on this slide. Your invitation can never take longer than 30 seconds, because if it does, it bleeds into a presentation. In fact, it's best if you'll keep it between 10 and 15 seconds. Couple reasons. One, 30 seconds is about the maximum time frame you have to get somebody's attention. Otherwise, their mind is going to wander. Some other topic is going to pop into their head that they're going to want to talk to you about. It can't take longer than 30 seconds, but my gosh, if you can make it 10 to 15, you're going to find the people that actually take the action step, or percentages that do so, are going to go up. and they're going to go up dramatically. The shorter it is, the more people that are going to take a look. Next up, the definition of a presentation, because I need you to understand the difference between an invitation and a presentation. Proffering or giving of something to someone, especially as a part of a formal ceremony. Proffering just means giving, handing, giving over to someone, offering to someone, giving them something or someone. Okay, in this case, in our business, that something would be information. Giving them, offering or giving them information. If you'll tie that up with a formal ceremony, you'll realize that when you talk too much, you've turned your invitation into a presentation. Can't do it. That's a landmine, and you're blowing yourself up. And not only are you blowing yourself up, there's additional collateral damage that I'll explain in just a minute. But number two, let's take a look at what number two says. Number two says the manner or style in which something is given or offered. The manner or style in which something is given or offered. Think that through. Again, what is the style somebody delivers something? The style means it's more formal, it's more presentation-like. When you're talking about a presentation, a formal ceremony, it would be like a webinar or going to a live meeting where there's somebody, a presenter in front of the room that's actually explaining what the technology or the opportunity is all about. We need to get you away from this. And we need to do it in a couple of areas. One, especially in the people who know you, because you cannot be the presenter ever to people who know you. They are going to doubt from the get-go. So stay focused on what you know to be true. And I'm putting the information in front of you that's taken me 35 plus years to figure out. And I've stepped on all the landmines I'm hoping to help you avoid, because they're very costly. And typically what happens to the average associate is this. Yeah, this is the average associate. They get in front of their prospective person and they just throw up all over them. What they're doing is they're putting out all the information that they have learned about this product, or that caused them to decide to get involved with our technology or with our opportunity. You can't do that, because the person just gets overloaded with information. And I can promise you that you've stepped on a landmine, because if you come back to this person at a later date and try to talk to them again about this product or opportunity, guess what's going to happen? They're going to be holding up a cross, or they're going to be holding up a bag of garlic, because they don't want you anywhere near them. You made them feel so stressed under the pressure you put them under, throwing information at it. They don't want to hear about it anymore. And as I said earlier, there's collateral damage to this type of a circumstance, because every single person you know can sit down and make a list of somewhere between 200 and 300 people that they have met in their lifetime, and sometimes more. And you've just lost access to that person's Rolodex. So you didn't lose just that one person. You lost an additional 200 to 300 potential users of our technology, and or join our business side and helping us bring it to market. It's the worst thing you can possibly do. I know many of you that are watching this have already done so. It's time to stop. You can, anytime that you want, it's time to stop. Let's get back to that third rule. The 3 invitation rules. The first one, again, say less to more people. By now, I hope you understand what that means. Don't create the picture in their mind to the point that they feel like they know what it is. The moment you've done that, boom, everything's gone. You might get 1 out of 50 takes the action step after taking that type of strategy. Your second is your invitation can never take longer than 30 seconds. 10 to 15 is best. Here's your third. Never, ever, 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 ever answer questions while giving an invitation. Typically when I say that, I'll get people, especially the people that haven't been around very long, that'll say, well, no, I can't do that. I mean, if they ask me a question, I've got a responsibility to answer it. And I don't want them to think I don't know the answer. I don't want them to think I might be stupid. No, you do not answer question, period. I don't care how well you know them. Even if you don't know them, you don't answer questions. Because here's what happens. If you answer a question, you're going to be required to answer more questions, because one will lead to another. And each one of those answers is going to further complete the picture in the mind of the person you're talking to. The second thing that you're doing that's so important to understand is by answering that question, the other side, collateral damage, keep that in mind. You've got this collateral damage you're creating at the same time. So how do you deal with it? Okay, if somebody asks you a question, let me give you a quick example. Let's say it was a video I was trying to get somebody to go watch, or it could be a webinar, it doesn't matter. They're very similar. If somebody said to me, hey, yeah, I'll go take a look at it, but tell me a little more about it. What is it? My response is going to be something very simple, like, Bill, listen, it's a video. It's like 8 minutes long. There's audio parts, there's visual parts. I can't explain that to you. You got to see it for yourself. Go check it out. And then after you've watched it, let's talk. Man, if this is as real as it looks, this could be crazy. I did not say anything. I did not answer a question. I did not give up any information. I don't say the word ASEA. I don't say anything that is potentially I could lose the control of what that person looks at. Because what my objective is to get them to go watch a video or a webinar. I want them to go look at the tool. I want the tool to draw out of them their level of interest. I don't want to spoil that by giving up information that doesn't allow the person to go see the tool. Because no matter what it is, let's take the technology we have. Are you better at talking about this technology than the doctors and the professional people who do it for us in videos? Of course you're not. You're not going to be as effective. So why would you want to start that and get in the middle of that and blow everything up? You don't want to do that. You've got to stay focused on what you can control. And here's the thing. You've heard this throughout your involvement in this industry. And that is, if you haven't heard it once, you're going to hear it now. But most of you have heard it dozens of times. And that is to disassociate yourself from the outcome. So when you're inviting somebody to take an action step, it's not up to you whether they do it or not, because you've done your part in giving the invitation. But I want you to think through with me for just a second. Why you disassociate yourself is this. When you give somebody something, and that's what we're doing when we give an invitation, we're giving them something. When you give something to someone, you have no control whatsoever what they do with what you've given them. None. Zero. You've got none. If that's the case, and you have no control over what they do with it, why would you get upset if they don't do anything? It's out of your control. And I believe that's why people tend to talk too much. They feel like they're losing control of a prospect, and so they start throwing data and information at them, hoping to save that circumstance. That's not the way to handle this. I like to use an example of fishing, because I like to fish, especially bass fishing. Now, I grew up trout fishing and ocean fishing in Southern California, but bass fishing is my passion when it comes to fishing in today's world, for the simple reason is they're a little more crafty, they're harder to catch, and when you do catch them, there's specific patterns that you have to learn. Well, it kind of applies to what we're doing here. I want you to think with me about this. When I go out to the lake to go fishing, I might get to the lake at 6 o'clock in the morning, and I might be there at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. During that time frame, I fish with artificial baits, plastics, and things that are handmade as opposed to live bait. And as I'm fishing throughout the day, I may cast that bait 500-600 times in an entire day, and of which I might get 10 or 12 bites. And of the 10 or 12 bites, I might land 6 or 7 fish. That's basically what happens in this world of inviting people. You need to cast the bait. And I don't get upset every time the bait comes in with no bite. It's just recast again, cast again, which is why I like to fish out of all sides of the boat, because I never know where the fish might be. I never know where the person is that needs the technology we have or the opportunity we have. The only way I can find them is just keep doing what I know to do, and that is cast. Translating it into our business, the only thing that you actually can control is the number of people to which you invite to have a look. So get your focus on being really good at inviting, getting so good at inviting that you can teach someone else how to invite. Because the moment you invite someone that accepts and becomes a part of your team, you're the sponsor. So I like to say you have sponsor ability of making sure that person is taught what you know so that they too can be successful. That's what this industry is all about. And we're again, that's a topic for getting started. We can do that another day. But right now, we're focused on you and the invitation. That's the one thing that you control, how many people you talk to and give them an invitation to look. And here's the really great thing about it. If you develop a 10 or 15 second invitation, it doesn't take very much time of your life to ask somebody to take a look. And if you get used to asking people to take a look without worrying about whether they do it or not, you're going to find pretty soon a lot of people do it. When your invitation itself doesn't sound like you're desperate for somebody to take a look, it's more like great information you want them to see or that you're willing to share, then what's going to happen is you're going to get more people that do it. And that's what you're here for. In closing up and on this topic for now, a couple things I want you to understand. If you'll remember at the very beginning, I said that I would give you some opening statements as well as forms of invitations so that you could take a look at those different things and kind of pick and choose things that work for you and your personality. If you find something in there that works for your personality, you can use them, practice them. If you have to tweak it, a word here or there because it fits your personality better, do so. Just make sure the content is the same when you're done, that it's getting the same outcome. You can do that. You'll be able to get a download directly from ASEA, and they'll tell you exactly how to do so. I've put a document together that coincides with this training that you're on here today, and you can download that document. It's a PDF, and it has virtually everything we've talked. So see ASEA for that. You'll have a chance to download it and further study this topic. But today, it's time for me to get a call to action for you. That's the most important step at this time, is a call to action. Because if you don't take what you learn here, then your time that you just set watching this entire presentation has been for naught. And that's not going to affect me. So consequently, I'm going to disassociate myself with what you do with this information, because honestly, I don't care. I do care about you, but if you don't use it, I don't care. It's not my fault. I've done my part. I'm looking to help instill that same type of attitude in you, that you don't care with what they do with it. You're going to have an attitude, you're not going to say this to someone, but the attitude in the back of your mind is when somebody doesn't do it, you're going to think, well, that was stupid, but that's okay. That doesn't mean you're going to get upset and mad or whatever. You can have the attitude, boy, that's interesting, or that's unique. Whatever floats your boat, just don't get upset about it. Just figure that going forward, that person, you've left them to their own destiny. Maybe temporarily, maybe long term if they don't finally come around and do take a look. So I'm going to challenge you to do something. And I'm not going to make this some difficult thing that you can't do. In fact, each and every one of you that's watching this can do this. So don't come to me with defenses or excuses that you couldn't get it done. Because some people are action people, some people make excuses. I need you to step up and take this task and run with it. So here it is. What I want to do is I'm going to challenge you to take the following action. I want you to give an invitation to one person a day, 5 days a week. One person a day, 5 days a week, which means if you wanted to, you take the weekends off. I'm not asking you to work real hard here. In fact, what I'm asking you to do is spend a grand total of 75 seconds in a 5-day period. And if you can't do that, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, if you need a swift kick in the rear end, I can give you that. But the reality of it is 75 seconds a week. And I know you can find time for it. That's why I made it simple. But here's what's going to happen. If you talk to 5 people a week, now, one last thought. If the 7th day of that week has come and you've only done 4, you don't go to bed on that 7th night until you invited somebody else to take a look. 5 people a week. 5. Again, that gives you 2 days off if you want it, but 5 people a week. That's all. But here's what happens. If you do that, 5 people each week, 52 weeks, in the next 12 months, you will have introduced 260 people to have looked at our technology and, of course, our opportunity. What do you think the chances are you will have turned your life around financially taking just that simple action step? We've got a technology that is a game changer. You know it. I know it. You believe it. I believe it. What we're missing is more people. Your responsibility can be met by getting to more people. And if just 5 a week gets you connected to 260 people a year, you're going to be way ahead of your competition. And guess what? Your team is going to be growing and thriving because you're going to have mastered the skill of learning to give an invitation, which puts you in a position to be able to teach that skill to someone else. And then once they've learned it, teach them how to teach it again to their next level down, so it duplicates throughout your business. For those of you that have heard me speak in the past, I'm going to take some time now because I want to end with a story. The story I want to share with you today took place high on a hilltop overlooking the beautiful city of Venice, Italy, many, many years ago. In that city, on top of the hilltop, lived an old man who was said to be a genius. And legend had it that the old man could answer any question that anyone could ask. And one day there were two local boys who figured that they could fool this old man. So they caught a small bird and they headed up for the old man's house. When they got up to the top of the hill and got up on his porch, they knocked at his front door. And when the old man came to the front door, one of the boys held out his hand and said, "Old man, is this bird alive or is it dead?" And without hesitation, the old man said, "Son, if I say to you that that bird is alive, you will simply close your hands, crush the life out of it, and it'll be dead. And if I say to you the bird is dead, you will simply open your hands and the little bird will fly away. You see, son, in your hands, you hold the power of life and death." I share that story with you today because I hope I'm driving home to you that you hold the power in your hands, your life, and the people that you care about. You've all heard the statement, "If it is to be, it's up to me." I hope you take that to heart because nobody in the world cares that you succeed more than you do. But if you don't succeed, the world doesn't care. It was Newt Rockne, a famous football coach from Notre Dame, who said, "The whole world loves a winner, but will not tolerate a loser." People don't care. It's up to you. Run with it. Take this information, learn it, digest it, practice it, and become a better you, and make this world a better place because you lived. Thank you all for your time and attention, because I never take your time or attention for granted. And may the God I believe in bless and keep you all.